This is T.S. O'Connell, with editor of Sports Collectors Digest, and forgive my unfamiliarity with video. I'm a writer by nature. What prompted this particular video episode is the Honus Wagner T206 card with quotation marks around it that was a subject of the show on ESPN, was it, the other night, Sunday. And this is a card that's been, or a contraption or whatever you want to call it, that's been floating around in the hobby for close to 25 years, and both HBO and ESPN have done pieces on it. And if you want to see the video, I think it's on Chris Nerritt's Gavel Chat blog. But in the course of it, you know, it's a what is to me a clearly bogus, half-baked or maybe entirely baked T206 Honus Wagner card that the owners can't get graded, or I guess decline to submit to grading because they don't want to, ostensibly don't want it to leave their site. They've gotten a lot of mileage out of the attempt to bring this card into the hobby mainstream and provided some legitimacy. They've been unable to do it. It's skirted on the absurdist. They even talk about playing the race card. Coincidentally, the man who owns the card and his cousin, I guess, they're both black, and so people have been theorizing that somehow part of their difficulties in getting this card legitimized is involved with race. I almost feel silly even to mention that. It's so absurd. If the card were real, it would have sold 25 years ago and sold any number of times since. Anyway, it's a point of some aggravation. And in the face of it, in my blog the other day, I decided that if the gentleman in question can somehow overcome their kind of odd reluctance to allow the card to be graded and unintended, like the other $50 million worth of cards that's done every year, if he can get a grade, get either PSA, SGC, or GAI to slab, authenticate, and grade this contrivance, upon the moment of that happening, I will dig out my 1957 Topps set, which I've been working on for the better part of 20 years, and I will pick one of the major auction houses. What's that? Whichever one. Just for the uninitiated, the reason you see gaps is because I had some of these graded, which
looks like a pretty high grade set.
Yeah, it's a very nice set. It has some of the centering difficulties of 50s, but any gaps you see are not because the cards are missing, but because they're entombed in plastic, which normally I would, but not everybody. I mean, the Banks is in there, and a lot of other great cards. The Clemente is in there. Anyway, if that were to somehow happen, if Pluto were to be brought back into the galaxy and named a planet once again, and perhaps the Earth's rotation, look at that nice Yankees card, start in a different direction, I will send this off to whichever auction house has the fastest turnover, and obviously one that I would want to have it involved in. And I'll ask that the check be made out to, and I don't have it with me, but a disabled veterans organization of my choosing, and they will get the check for whatever money would have come my way, which obviously would be the sale price of the set minus the commission. You know, I'd like to say that this is a grand gesture, but of course it's an absurdist gesture, no different than, or not, certainly different in motivation, but it's different in the sense that it's not going to happen. The card is not going to be deemed authentic, and I won't have to part with a legitimate hobby treasure that I cherish. So there you have it. That's my silliness for today on video.